Welcome back, traders and investors. We have Steve Ellis on the line. He's an executive vice president and group head of wholesale services at Wells Fargo. Steve, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm waiting for the sun to come up here in California, but looks like it's going to be another beautiful day here.
Okay, so you cover a wide range of services over there at Wells Fargo. Could you just give us a little bit of background and what you're doing over there?
Sure, I've been at Wells since July of 1987. Currently, I manage our treasury management business. That helps. We work with medium and large-sized companies. We help them collect, disperse, and invest their cash and their receipts. I also am the COO of the Wholesale Bank, which is about $300 billion loan portfolio, very large, 700 offices, 35,000 people spread across the United States and the world. And then, probably while you're talking to me, I focus a lot on innovation and emerging technologies, particularly around payments, mobile, and social. And that would also include cloud and big data and things like that.
Okay, and how did you get started in this? I mean, you've been at Wells Fargo since 1987. Just was it a progression of other jobs that you had at the company? Because a lot of this technology wasn't around in 1987.
That's right, and I'm not a tech guy. I used to actually own a tavern in Portland, Oregon, back in the '70s with a bunch of friends of mine, specialized in craft beers, and I was always a forecaster. Started moved down to the bank and started forecasting the balance sheet. Got into some back office stuff, and then one day, and it was like in the 1997, my boss asked me if I'd go over and work in the treasury management group, which I started doing, and that's a place that actually where the internet and mobile technologies are a great way to deliver those services. That Internet Religion in 1999 at a conference I went to, and I saw Scott McNeely speak, and I've been doing online mobile, been focusing on that kind of stuff since late '99.
Do you know Jimmy Greenblatt from Portland, Oregon?
No, I don't. But if you know a place called Produce Row Cafe,
Yep,
that's,
yep. I've been there. If you, yep, I do. I know that's a neat place. So, okay. So how has this technology evolved? Over the last few years, a lot of different things have gone on. So you're constantly making adjustments. Kind of talk about the evolution and the changes you made, and what do you see coming up in the future?
okay. So, for us, it's always been a continual process of change. When we really started to recognize how important the internet and eventually mobile was, we knew we weren't building it once, that our customers would adopt these new technologies and they would quickly adapt their business processes and the way they did things to these technologies. So we build a repeatable process up so we can do continual change every 90 days based on about 80% of it today is based on customer feedback, and then 20% stuff we make up ourselves. But we've been rolling out new versions of our portal or our mobile services every 90 days since June of 2000. And we think that's an important factor in how you have to look at these things. That this is not, you build it once and they will come. You build it and then they're going to want other things. That's proven to be true over all these years.
And so, what kind of effect, do you think it's going to have on the brick and mortar, branches? As more and more people become, using the internet and the mobile services. I mean, eventually, are these, there's going to be less. Are you guys closing banks? What's your prediction of how this is going to affect the brick and mortar branches, and will they even be needed? Let's say in 5, 10, or 15 years.
Yeah. So our view is the people connection is fundamental to our business. So you should not expect to see us closing our brick and mortar and our branches. I would expect them to change based on some of these technologies and some of the way we use them and the way our customers use them. So we would look at we look at they're complementary channels. There's I walk into a branch, we call them stores, but I walk in there because that's how I like to do it. Some people like to just go use ATMs and online banking or mobile banking. And some people like to do all those things. It sort of depends on what you want to do. You know, if I just need to get cash, I can go to an ATM. What if I need to, get a mortgage? I need to go talk to somebody. Maybe I can do that. I like to do it in person. Maybe I like to do it on a video conference call. You can see it's the people connection to us is very, very important. So we think of it as an omni-channel, that there's complementary channels. Some people like telephone banking. Some people like to walk into the branch. Some people like to use a mobile phone. Some people like to use a tablet. Some people like to use PC. Now, the other thing we think is very interesting is what mobile does and has done. We've been doing mobile banking since '07. Is it connects the virtual and the physical worlds together. Right? I think when these things started, the internet was this thing off to the side. You would get your PC, maybe you had it in your bin that had Ethernet cable stuck into it, and you just went off and you did it over there. And originally it was just getting information, and then eventually it got commercialized so you could actually do real things on it, not just get information, but act on that information. Now with mobile, I have all that information at my fingertips, and I can carry it with me, and I can link these things together because of how mobile works, which is very exciting. So if I walked into a branch with my mobile phone, and it was okay. I was okay as a consumer letting the branch know where my mobile phone was. They might be able to provide me a different customer experience than the one I get currently. So we see mobile blending in with how the physical world works. That means the branches will eventually, they'll adopt and adapt and change some of these technologies just like they always have. But that's what we see, more of a continuation and a connection across these things, across these channels.
Okay, so they're all working together. Now a big thing we got to talk about here is security. I mean, obviously, if people are doing transactions, myself included, a primary thing is the security. I mean, are there concerns? What measures do you take for this purpose? And is there any? I don't know if you can say. Is there any key companies that you rely on for this very important thing?
Okay, so security is front and center to trust. If they don't trust you, why would you put your money somewhere, right? I mean, we would all agree with that.
Correct.
And I look at Wells. I mean, it's always been through in financial institutions. Wells started in 1852 with the stagecoaches out west. And they had a guy on the top of that stagecoach with a shotgun, right? Because people were trying to steal stuff. That's just what happened. I mean, so it's part and parcel of our culture. And it's everyone's responsibility at Wells Fargo to be focused on safety, security, and convenience and ease of use. So all those things together fit actually very well. When you get into these new, whether it's the internet or mobile or emerging services, how you build things. Our forefront is always we really got to know who the customer is. And it's really got to be safe so no one else can pretend they're that customer. That's very, very important to us. It permeates throughout our organization. So very comfortable, right, that we are doing everything we can, have done everything we can, right, to protect our customers' assets and their information and our company, right, because it's very important to us. I would say this is a very interesting space with a lot of change, right? It used to be, particularly with the financial institution, someone might be trying to steal money or someone's info, and we built up, I think, very effective defenses around that. And now it's morphed more into cyber warfare. When you think of a company like Wells, which is a large, global, systematically important financial institution that moves tens of trillions of dollars, that someone could want to just disrupt our business as a way to either further a political cause, or maybe there's, war someday. And so that changes the way you start thinking of these things, and to get the motives of the bad guys change and how you want to organize your defenses and your processes to protect the safety and security of our customers, and our company, and in some cases our country. So there's a lot going on there, which is why there's no one company. But I think the point here, there's not one thing that we rely on. We rely on a variety of I call a security ecosystem. Some some of it's around access management, some of it's around physical security, some of it's around, data encryption. There's all kinds of things we do. It's a real mosaic of stuff, and it's morphine based on the bad guys are morphing the way they think about things. So I would actually rate it as one of our more innovative things that we work on these days.
Is there any particular companies, I mean, in the space that you rely on, or like we just said, you rely on, you got several different areas of security that you need to cover. Are there any in the cyberspace? Is there any particular companies that you guys tend to rely on, or not?
Well, we pull things together from a variety of companies.
Okay.
There is actually the industry itself has created. There's a company called Early Warning Systems that's very useful in working around things like checking accounts and the validity of those and all that kind of stuff. I think I would say, frankly, we rely on our banking peers and work together in concert with them. Right, because it's in everyone's best interests, right? That the banking industry
Is secure.
is safe.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, you just mentioned checks there, and I know some of the people here, the youngsters, like I mentioned something about a check a couple of weeks ago, and they're like, "What's that?" I mean, handling all their payments. Do you see a time and a place where checks are going to become extinct?
So my kids, I have two kids. One's 33, one's 23. Neither of them has ever written a check.
Yeah.
And I don't think they will. But now my dad, he still writes checks. I still get a Christmas check from him. And I think I'm going to get a Christmas check from my dad until he
Right.
can't write checks anymore. But they have certainly phased down, particularly on the consumer side, because of services like online banking and electronic person-to-person payment, which we do and a variety of other companies do. So I think you've seen services come along that are reducing those. I think mobile payments are certainly another thing I think that are going to probably be a tipping point to reduce not just checks but cash. Because of the ease of use and the safety and convenience and security features of some of these new services are coming out. So I don't know if checks will go away in my lifetime, but they're going to become less and less relevant and used. That's what I would say.
I want to get your take on the Apple Pay that came out yesterday. I mean, it really talks about the direction that things are going. Do you think that Apple Pay is that something that is going to infringe on your banking services, or do you think this something will eventually be a boon to your services?
Well, we're actually part of Apple Pay, and we work with them on that service, along with several other financial institutions and several of the big card issuers. We have been a proponent of mobile payments and wallets for years. Our preference, what we see for our customers, we'd like our customers' cards in every viable wallet that's out there. And viable gets to some of the things we're talking about: safety, security, convenience, things like that. That's important to us. We think this is a potential tipping point to help really move the dial a bit with the acceptance of mobile payments. There's two pieces here. One is I got a device that I can put a card in it without the real card number in it, which is very important from a safety security standpoint. And the other side is the merchant has to have a terminal and the software and the ability to take that device. And I think that this is a big thing on one side of the equation. The other side is, all the terminals have to be chip enabled for chip cards by October of next year. And I think those two things together are really going to help start driving what I would think of as acceptance of mobile payments, which we find very exciting. We love being part of it, and we're very excited about that future.
Okay, you got something else exciting going on at Wells Fargo, and you guys got a new startup accelerator going on. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, that's another very exciting thing we're doing, and part of this is just a natural evolution of who we are. We're very fortunate to have a headquarters in San Francisco. Just up the 101 from Silicon Valley, and a lot of these new startups. And this goes back to 2000, would knock on our door with some interesting ideas, and we would talk to them. And if they were really cool ideas, we would start working with them. You think back to 2004, company had the idea of sending confidential information securely through email. Very important to us. We thought it was a cool idea. Just three guys in a dorm room in Stanford, by the way. And became their first customer. They've got like 1,000 customers, and that became part of our secure email process. We had another one around data transformation. So this is kind of how things have happened for us. And over about a year ago, we were starting to see a lot of these companies. They were just knocking on the door like every day, a lot more frequency. And my R&D guy said, maybe we should create like an incubator, accelerator type program. And that was the genesis of that program. A guy named Benzinga came up with that idea. But what we do with our accelerator is we're trying to extend the tent poles of Wells Fargo from an innovation perspective. We want to look outside more. There's lots of good ideas in Wells, lots of good ideas outside Wells. And we want to find those ideas outside Wells, not just the people who are knocking on our door, but reach out and open our door to more people, right? And then we want to get the connection with business people inside the 90 different businesses in Wells connected with these people. Right? So this helps the startups in that they get to meet real business people, real purchasing managers. We know a lot about things like secure coding, how to commercialize software. We can help give them ideas around that. We've created a little boot camp to help some of these companies who might need that, and even the ideas of how to start a company and run a company. And then for us, we're fostering, we're opening up more people inside Wells to look outside Wells and look at some of these ideas. Very exciting, right? We've gotten over 100 applications since we announced this a little while ago from all over the world. And then we're going to take a little equity stake, but we're not taking a board position. It's not about exclusivity. It's about bringing new ideas inside the company faster, right? And the success of the program won't be based off of returns, but it's going to be based off of how we drive more innovation across a company like Wells.
Oh, before I let you go, I just got to get your thoughts on Bitcoin.
Yeah, so Bitcoin or any other virtual currency, we're constantly looking at all forms of payment to understand them better. We know the world has a natural evolution and change to it, and part of what we do is we're always out looking for those things and trying to understand them, and that's how we look at virtual currencies.
Okay. All right. Steve Ellis, Executive Vice President and Group Head of Wholesale Services at Wells Fargo, really covering the whole gambit here in the banking sector as far as technology. Exciting new project going on with their startup accelerator. Steve, it was great having you on, and we hope to have you on again.
Great. Thank you so much, and hope you have a great day.
Okay. Thank you.